At the beginning of the story, we see an elderly couple who are on their way to a party. On the road, they are arguing about every single thing. Whatever topic comes into their minds turns into a debate. At one point, their attention is so distracted that they almost crash into another car. When they reach their son's house, Larry hides the bandage on Joan's hand with her shirt and reminds her that today she has to tell the whole family about her cancer. Joan says she just needs one more day because she doesn't want to ruin today's party. The family welcomes them very warmly. They have been married for 65 years. They tell Joan that they found a box of her old photographs in the basement. One of the photos is from Joan's first marriage with a man named Luke, who died in the war. Meanwhile, something suddenly gets stuck in Larry's throat. He starts having trouble breathing and falls to the ground. Just a few seconds later, Larry's eyes suddenly open. He wakes up, startled, on a train. When the train stops at a station, Larry sees that many people are wearing hospital clothes. He follows them and soon reaches a junction. People there are saying strange things he can't understand. Larry tells the girl at the reception that he's been kidnapped and brought here, but the receptionist says nothing like that has happened. She tells him to sit and wait for his AC. Even after a few hours, when the crowd has thinned, Larry falls asleep on the chairs. Then Anna arrives and calls his name. She tells him, "I'm your AC, Afterlife coordinator." This clearly means Larry has died, and now Anna's job is to guide him to the right place. Larry still can't understand that he's dead. Anna shows him a mirror. Larry is shocked to see that he has become young again. Anna explains that when people arrive at the junction, their bodies take the form they had when they were happiest in their lives. While Anna is showing him the building, Larry keeps saying he wants to go to his wife. Annoyed, Anna slaps him so he'll stop crying. "You're still crying even after dying? Are you crazy?" she says. She also explains that this is neither heaven nor hell. It's just a temporary stop that cannot be changed. Once you choose, you choose. Just then, an alarm goes off, and Larry sees security catching a man. Anna tells him the man must have tried to escape through the red door and warns Larry never to do that. Then Anna takes him to a temporary room and shows him different afterlife options based on various religions. Larry is allowed to stay in this room for 7 days until he chooses his next life. His favorite clothes are kept in the closet. After changing, Larry turns on the TV, but all channels show advertisements urging him to start his new life there. He goes out to explore the junction. He sees many stalls selling dreams of future lives. Eventually, he wanders into a bar. As soon as he sits down, a beautiful woman comes and sits beside him and starts flirting, suggesting that his next life could be interesting. Larry says, "Sorry, sister, I'm married." The bartender, Luke, stops the girl and says advertising inside the bar isn't allowed. The woman quietly leaves. Larry asks Luke if he's an angel. Luke says he's also a soul, like Larry, just working at the junction for now. Larry is still confused, so Luke explains the rules. Once you choose a life, you can't change it. You're not allowed to switch to another life. If you break any rules, stay too long, or try to change your life, you'll be thrown into the void, a place of total darkness forever. They have a good conversation, and Larry tells Luke that his wife has cancer, and he had promised to take care of her. He feels bad that he came here before her. After a couple of drinks, Larry goes back to his room and sleeps. The next morning, Anna climbs onto the bed to wake Larry up. Startled, he wakes up. Anna asks why people work here. She says some people can't accept that they're dead. Some are waiting for their loved ones to die and come here so they can go on together. And the worst off are those who simply can't choose. Larry asks about his wife. Joan will die soon too, right? Anna says that information can't be given right now. Larry decides he will wait for Joan. Anna says the 7-day stay is free, but after that he'll have to work if he wants to stay, and he'll be moved to the basement. Several days pass, but there's no sign of Joan. Anna says it could take months. Maybe her cancer even got cured. After that, Larry decides to build a lovely home in Joan's memory so that everything will be ready when she arrives. That night, Larry writes a letter to his wife. At that same moment, Joan dies of cancer and wakes up on a train. The next morning, Anna is taking Larry toward his new life. Larry gives Anna the letter and asks her to give it to Joan. Anna says it's against the rules, but she'll try if possible. Larry heads toward the station while Joan is getting off the train. On the escalator, Larry sees his wife, but Joan doesn't notice him. Anxious, Larry goes back. Joan is looking at her young face in the mirror. The two meet and hug lovingly. Joan already understands she's dead. She starts scolding Larry, asking how someone can die like that, and calling him foolish for not eating carefully. Just then, Ryan arrives, Joan's afterlife coordinator. He separates Joan from Larry and takes her to her first husband, Luke, who has been waiting for her for 67 years. Joan becomes very emotional seeing Luke. Larry jumps in, saying, "People die, it's normal. Come on, baby, let's go to our world. I've chosen a new life for you." Joan is confused about what's happening. Soon she learns she must choose between her two husbands, and then she can build her desired life. Ryan explains the rules and takes her to a room. After changing clothes, Ryan is explaining her options when Luke arrives. Afraid of having to choose between them, Joan shuts the door. Ryan says Luke is a very good man and has been waiting 67 years. Meanwhile, Larry vents his anger to Anna. Anna says she and Ryan used to be in a relationship, and since they fought, he might be speaking against Larry on purpose. Larry argues that he and Joan were married 65 years, had children, and lived a full life together. Joan and Luke go for a walk in the junction. They both feel a bit awkward. Suddenly, two guards run past, chasing a man trying to escape his chosen life. One guard greets Luke and recognizes Joan, saying, "So you finally made it here." Joan feels good, realizing Luke talked about her. After the guards leave, Luke explains the rules again and confesses his love. He says he thought about her every day. He speaks sweetly and tries to kiss her, but Joan steps back, feeling strange. She says she needs time to think and quickly leaves. A few minutes later, Larry enters Joan's room. Overwhelmed by all the life options, Joan panics and shouts at him. She says she needs time. She tells him the past few days were very heavy. After his death, her best friend also died. Larry feels a bit happy because he never liked her much. Larry remembers that squatting always calmed Joan. In old age, she couldn't squat, but now, being young again, she feels strong and happy. Later, Larry pretends to choke on food again, which scares Joan, but he laughs and says he's already dead, just joking. Then he lies on the bed to relax, but Joan kicks him out and he has to go to his basement room. On the way, Larry sees a board promoting a show by the dead singer Dean Martin, whom Joan loves. Larry asks Anna to arrange the show. When Larry reaches his new room, he's shocked at how tiny it is. The next morning, Larry brings Joan to the waiting area. Anna brings the singer and plays piano, but the man behaves oddly and even falls down the stairs. They realize he's not the real Dean Martin, but an impersonator, still copying even after death. Luke drags the man away and punches him. With Ryan's help, Luke tries to give Joan flowers, but Larry interrupts, saying that's cheating. The two men start fighting again, and Joan gets furious and yells at them to be quiet. Then she takes Anna and Ryan to her room and vents her anger at them. Frustrated, she says they must find some solution. How can she decide like this? The coordinators make a long phone call to break the rules. After some time, Joan brings both husbands into the room. The coordinators explain her case is special, so she has received a special visa. Joan is allowed to choose twice. She can try one life with Larry and one with Luke, and then she must decide. The two men start fighting again over who goes first. They even start pushing each other, so Joan shouts again. She says they'll decide by tossing a coin. More arguing starts, but Ryan stops them. Larry flips the coin and Luke wins. During the train ride, Luke and Joan reminisce about old days. Soon they arrive at a beautiful mountain with clear skies and green forests. They have fun walking hand in hand. In the evening, they have dinner at a restaurant. Joan keeps talking about her children and grandchildren, which makes Luke uncomfortable. He says he's not upset, just sad he couldn't give her that life, but he's happy she lived well. Joan says she waited for him for some time, but he was gone. No one returns after dying. Then Luke takes her to a place called the Archives, present in every chosen life, where souls can rewatch memories. They relive important moments, their first meeting, first kiss, wedding day, and the last promise before he went to war. Joan kisses Luke again and says she was broken after his death. As memories continue, Luke sees Larry proposing to Joan. Furious, he storms out, accusing Larry of taking advantage of a grieving woman. Joan tries to explain, but Luke won't listen. Meanwhile, Larry is upset because Luke tells everyone he died heroically in war, making himself look like a hero. Larry fears Joan might choose Luke. Anna advises him to remind Joan why she loved him. Larry says he doesn't even know why she loved him, but he knows someone who might, her best friend, Karen. Larry meets Karen, who looks very old. She says her happiest days came after her husband died because she could finally live freely. She admits she didn't like Larry at first, but he grew on her. Larry asks why Joan loves him. Karen says she doesn't know, but he kept Joan very happy. Larry then goes to Luke's room searching for secrets. Marks on the wall show Luke counted every day since his death, and he filled a book with drawings of Joan. Luke arrives and yells at Larry, accusing him again. They start fighting, and Larry's letter falls from his pocket. Luke says the place where Larry proposed was a special place for him and Joan, so of course Joan would feel lonely there after he died. Larry took advantage of that. The next day, Larry takes Joan to try another life on a crowded beach. They talk and almost kiss when a boy hits Larry with a ball and ruins the mood. Later, they go out on a boat. Larry apologizes for not being with her when she died and talks about how happy their children would be to see them together. Joan accuses him of trying to manipulate her emotionally, and they argue again. Joan says he doesn't understand her situation. She loved both of them at different times and promised both to spend her life with them. Larry says if he were in Luke's place, he would have waited too. Back at the junction, Joan wants to watch her past memories with Larry, but he refuses, saying people can get lost in memories. Joan thinks he's scared of what might come out. They sit by the shore and talk about their first date. Larry says he just wanted to give her a better life. Meanwhile, Luke finds Larry's letter. Later, Joan and Larry return from their date and kiss. Larry says it doesn't matter where they go as long as they're together. Just then, Luke gives Joan the letter. Reading it, she learns Larry almost moved on, but stopped after seeing her. Another argument begins. Joan calls Larry selfish. Larry says he was her second choice too, and Luke had also been intimate with other souls. Luke angrily says, so what if he was with a few souls in 67 years? He was still waiting for Joan. Both men urge her to choose, but Joan needs more time. The coordinators take them away. Later, Karen brings Joan a drink, and Joan breaks down crying. Karen consoles her and takes her to fun booths to distract her. While drinking, Joan pours out her feelings. Karen reminds her she's dead. Marriage vows say, till death do us part, and death has parted them. She should live her life as she wants. Outside, Larry and Luke are also drinking heavily. After several drinks, they start bonding and even praising each other, joking that the girl is too much trouble for them. The next morning, Joan wakes up hungover but has made a decision. She calls both husbands and says she's lucky to have loved them both, but she can't choose one and hurt the other. She would always feel guilty, so she chooses neither. She decides to live her own life. She gets ready and decides to spend her afterlife with her friend Karen, enjoying themselves together. Meanwhile, Larry admits to Luke that he proposed at that special place to erase Luke's memories from Joan's mind, and maybe even died after seeing their wedding picture. Luke admits he was jealous of the life Larry had with her. Larry realizes their young forms reflect their happiest moments. Luke looks like he did when Joan agreed to marry him. Larry looks like he did when Joan was pregnant with their second child. Suddenly, Larry understands something. He runs to Joan at the station and asks her to come down for one last talk. He tells her that her long hair shows her happiest time was with Luke, not during their wedding when her hair was short, so she should choose Luke and be happy. Joan resists at first, but Larry insists. They cry and hug one last time. Later, Luke and Joan board the train for their new life together. Larry wanders the junction, not knowing where to go. He sees Anna and Ryan have reunited and feels happy for them. Luke and Joan start their new life happily, but over time, Joan begins to doubt. She revisits memories, including her first meeting with Larry. Over the next few days, Luke takes her to many activities, but she doesn't enjoy anything. Every night she goes to the archives to watch her life with Larry. A clerk warns her not to live too much in memories. One night, Luke says their life is perfect, but Joan has no answer. The next morning, when Luke suggests going out again, Joan breaks down. She says she made a mistake choosing him. Luke gets angry. Joan explains she was happiest with him because it was young love, without responsibilities. But love isn't just good moments, it includes struggles too. She says he loves the Joan from 67 years ago, but she has changed. She decides to try going back, even if she gets caught. Crying, she says she loved Luke, but now she loves Larry. A few hours later, Joan practices breaking open a door with a knife as part of her escape plan. Luke returns and says he will help her. They go to the archives where the red door is. Luke distracts the clerk by pretending to be upset. While the guard is distracted, Joan sneaks inside. Luke follows like a normal client. They watch their wedding memories one last time and say goodbye. Joan runs through her memories and enters the red door, which leads her into corridors of her childhood memories. Alarms go off and guards arrive. Joan runs into the memory of Luke's death. From there, a washing machine door drops her into a memory of fighting with Larry. Guards are close behind. She blocks a door with a chair and runs upstairs, where she sees her older self dying while calling Larry's name. Young Joan hides under the bed. Guards chase her, but she crawls onto train tracks, goes through a tunnel, and returns to the junction. At reception, she asks about Larry, but her wanted notice appears and she has to run again. In the booth area, she bumps into Ryan and Anna. They hide her and misdirect the guards. Joan asks where Larry's new life is. The coordinator's answer shocks her. Larry didn't want any life without Joan. She runs to him at the bar where he's working as a bartender. They have a drink together, and Joan tells Larry to come with her. She admits she broke the rules and he could get into trouble. Larry agrees without hesitation. Soon after, they choose a life exactly like their old married home, in the same neighborhood where they spent their lives together. If you liked the video, press like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.